Good evening, and my name is Deidre Morrow, and I want to thank you ladies for coming tonight to this workshop. Here at Rosebrook, we really want to help you women that are going through a traumatic experience, and we want you to know that we're here for you. And I just want to give you a little bit of information about domestic violence. What are the effects of domestic violence on the family and children? Well, to understand domestic violence, you have to know what it means. Domestic violence is a situation where a person, female or male, in a close relationship such as marriage, dating, living together, abuses the other one by the way of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Physical abuse can be beatings, rape, shoving, pushing, biting, kicking. Emotional abuse includes humiliation, put downs, insults, threatening accusations, keeping family and friends away from you, and always accusing you of infidelity. The person being accused is always living on eggshells. The person never has peace in their life and always waiting for the next beating or accusations. Most women stay. That's a question that everybody always wonder, why do they stay? Well, some studies that we've done, and it proposes that many women fear losing custody and having joint custody with the abuser because they will still have to interact with him or her. They worry about what would happen if the children were left alone with him while he's visiting with the children. Some may even be influenced by family, religion, personal beliefs to stay in the marriage or relationship. Some believe that a bad father is better than no father at all. Effects on children who witness family violence are affected in many ways. Physical abuse is not good for the mother to go through, but it really affects the child mentally, physically, and emotionally. Children are at greater risk of the abuse and neglect if they live at home with the violence. Most women, or most of them, feel isolated or feel ashamed of the situation. So asking for help or leaving would mean revealing their secret of their spouse being abusive. Please remember, some is violent, some will even continue to be violent. And sometimes the situation gets worse. So once an abuser is always an abuser, unless in some cases the person realizes and wants to seek help. Let's talk about the effects of domestic violence on children. The effects of domestic violence on children result from witnessing domestic violence in the home. When one of the parents is abusing the other, it plays a traumatic part on the well-being and the development of the growth of the children. Let's talk about some of the signs of the effect of domestic violence on children. Some children are suffering from domestic violence cannot hide it. Others tend to display signs that can be noticeable that things are not right at home. Low self-esteem, nightmares, aggression, disobedience, lack of concentration, and anxiety are just some of a few that affects a child. As children grow into teenagers, the signs will display poor grades, being absent from school, or even dropping out. Eating disorders, depression, becoming abusive themselves to their friends, their peers, and even to their parents. Substance abuse is really rampant, such as using drugs and alcohol. Some of them don't even come home or don't even want to come home or just run away. Most of all, the worst thing is that they have suicidal tendencies. Of course, there are other signs, and the seriousness of the symptoms can increase over time depending on the length of the time the child is exposed to the abuse and the neglect, and depending on the age of the child, and if they have support from others such as family, friends, teachers, coaches, and friends, and etc. that will help them through the situation. Let's talk about the symptoms of domestic violence. In general, children who witness domestic violence at home experience physical symptoms along with emotional, behavior, and social dysfunction. Let's talk about the physical symptoms. Consist of headaches, a lot of them complain about, stomach aches, some of them might bedwet, having lack of energy or no motivation, and a lot of times they have a lot of issues with far as just concentrating. Emotional symptoms can be anxiety, fear that they may be injured or abandoned from the parent or the parent being abused. The child can experience anxieties and come from worried about the parent that is being abused. The child can have conflicting feelings toward the abusive parent. It might have distrust, resentment, or it might even have empathy and love for the parent. This can cause confusing feelings and cause grief and shame, and it makes the child feel helpless. Behavior symptoms develop when children are exposed to domestic violence. Behavior problems such as regression, being out of control, bullying, intimidating other children and siblings. Children may think that violence is an acceptable and a normal behavior in an intimate relationship and become abusers themselves or accept abuse. This is not good. Let's talk about the social system. Children exposed to domestic violence can have their foundation, safety, and security damaged. Children experience and display empathy or sympathy for others. They develop poor management and poor problem-solving skills, often develop aggressive behavior and engage in harmful and dysfunctional relationships. This we talk about right now is dual abuse. This can come from abuse develops because the child will have experienced some of or all the symptoms. It could be physical, emotional, behavior, and social. The trauma of domestic violence is very detrimental to the children and the whole family. Let's summarize and conclude. The impact of domestic violence to whom is exposed to is a traumatic experience and will cause emotional, mental, and social damage that can especially affect the development of the growth of the children. Some children lose the ability to feel for others. I believe this will affect the children in a lot of ways, as far as in bullying in school, maybe not getting along with or making friends. Some come isolated. Some come real, maybe introvert. And also, this can maybe affect a lot of children that you see in the news lately where they're getting guns and just shooting people and not having no remorse or no feeling about it. This all can stem from being in a domestic violence situation. Now, we have a graph here. I don't know if you can see. But what it displays is that you have children that have been exposed to domestic violence and children that haven't. And when you have children that have been exposed to domestic violence, even if they've been married with two parents, divorced, or never been married, the stats are high with children being in domestic violence situations compared to children that wasn't in violent situations. So that tells you right there, it doesn't matter if the parents are single, married, together, separated. If their children are experiencing domestic violence, it will affect them. Studies even show that children witnessing violence more aggressive and fearful have an anxiety, depression, post-traumatic syndrome compared to children who have not experienced or been in domestic violence situations. The effects of witnessing domestic violence can diminish with time. Even if the violence continues with the other parent, if the children is removed from the situation, it would help them tremendously, even though they still will be worried about their other parent. The effects of domestic violence will follow a child into adulthood. Such symptoms as post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, negative behaviors, lack of bonding with another, caring for others' feelings in the relationship. Adults can start to heal if they move from the abusive situation and receive counseling. Even the abuser can heal by getting help and counseling as well. When children are involved, it's very crucial that the parent seeks help immediately. For domestic violence, it lasts a lifetime for a child. I believe you all know that it's not okay. That's why you're here tonight. And I'm so glad that you made the choice to be here, to get help, and to move on to have a peaceful and successful, caring life. No one deserves to be abused, and a child certainly doesn't deserve to be in a situation that way. We're here to help. We care. I care. Rosebrook Center is here to help you if you want. Thank you.